Welcome. Here is the truth. When a person of great influence declares there is no God, they don't become neutral. They become a vessel, waiting to be filled. We're told that atheism is simply an empty room, a harmless personal choice. But nature and the human spirit detest a vacuum. When the highest authority is removed, it doesn't leave an empty space, it leaves a vacancy. Power amplifies what is within. An ordinary person without faith may live and die quietly, but give a person immense wealth, influence, and the loyalty of millions, with no sense of accountability to a higher power. And you have created an invitation. Power without humility is not freedom, it is exposure. It is an open door. The takeover of the soul is rarely dramatic. It doesn't look like the movies. It is a quiet, creeping corrosion. It is the inability to feel remorse. It is an ambition that is never satisfied, that feeds on the ruin of others. It is a charisma that builds empires and destroys lives with the same charming smile. The most dangerous people in history didn't look like monsters. They looked like leaders. They looked like success. The descent happens in stages. First, a quiet turning away from gratitude, from anything beyond the self. Then, the belief that morality is a personal invention. Then, the pursuit of power begins. Because power is the only thing that can fill the void where awe used to be. But that power begins to make its own demands. It whispers that sacrifices are necessary. And by the time you realize you are no longer in control, you understand you never were. Something else has been guiding your ambition all along. And here is the most chilling part. It is a willing bargain. Deep down, when the light of heaven is rejected, the fire of ambition becomes the only light there is. And to a soul starved of purpose, any power feels like salvation. So, doors are opened that can never be closed. Thrones are built on foundations of bone. And the whole time, the unseen partner in this enterprise is just smiling. There is only one shield against this corrosion, a genuine, daily, quiet humility. An acknowledgement that I am not the center of the universe. The power I wield is not my own. That simple act of surrender is the only door that remains locked to the darkness. Without it, anyone is just a furnished room with a vacancy sign. And vacancies are always filled. So look at our world. Look at those who wield immense power, who scoff at accountability. Ask yourself, are they truly making decisions? Or has something else, something they invited in long ago, been making decisions through them? The person you see on the screen is not always the one in control. Sometimes they are just the public face of a much older, darker force. When you see them, don't just feel anger, feel a sense of tragedy. They are a king in a gilded cage who has forgotten the sky. They opened a door they can no longer close and invited in a guest that will never leave. And they will sit on their lonely throne, calling it freedom.